Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Simone here. Today I'm going to be filming my May TBR, which is basically going to be my TBR for the mental healthathon run by Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books, Rachel from Rachel Marie Book Junkie, and Kate from Chapter Kate, and I will link all their channels down below and their videos because I love all three of those girls. Nicole, I believe, is the original founder of this, and basically this readathon is taking place across the whole of the month of May, and there is a bingo board. I will link the Google Doc that Nicole has done down below so that you can go and check out if you want to take part. But I am actually not going to be following the bingo board, only because there are a couple of things on there that I get quite triggered by, one of the main ones being eating disorders, and I can't read a book about that, so I'm not going to try and sort of complete all the squares. But I have got 10 books, which you'll see behind me, which I'm hoping to read in the month of May. I have not been reading that many books actually per month. I think I read about 5 or 6 in the month of April, which you'll see coming up soon in my wrap up. But I think that I'm going to give myself 10, 2 of them are massive, but that way I can kind of pick and choose which ones I feel like reading at the time. So yes, so without further ado, let's get started with the 10 books that I've chosen to read in the Mental Healthathon. So the first book that I actually have is one of my buddy reads. Only one of them I'm talking about today because the other one is not a book about mental health. But I am reading The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer with Kaz from Cats and Camera. I will link her channel down below. I think she's amazing, and we buddy read Wonder last month and it was a really great buddy read, and we decided to buddy read The Shock of the Fall this month. I don't really know too much about this. I know that one of the main characters, or one of the characters, dies in the first chapter. It says on the back, it's not a spoiler, but I think after that it's kind of grief and trauma, and I believe there's some mental illness in it. I don't know how he died, whether it was suicide or not, but I feel like that's the vibe I get from the synopsis on Goodreads. There's not really a massive synopsis on the back, so I don't really know exactly how the mental illness kind of takes part in this, but I know that there's a lot of grief and trauma and that sort of thing in this, and I feel like it's going to be a really good one. And I'm really looking forward to buddy reading this with Kaz as well, because like I said, we had a really great one last time. The second one is a book that I mentioned on my biggest books on my TBR, which I will link below. It went up on Friday last week, and that is I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. This is a humongous book. I think it's 900 pages long. Let me just check. Yeah, 900 pages. And this follows two twins who, one of them has paranoid schizophrenia and he does something and the other twin has to kind of adapt to it. I don't know anything else about it. I just know that this is meant to be a really good book. I've heard great things. It was a New York Times #1 bestseller, which is always kind of a good sign, I guess. And obviously I don't think I've ever read a book about schizophrenia before. So yeah, really interested to get to this one. I don't know if I will read this month. It is on my, like I say, on my TBR, but I'm not sure if I'll get to it because it is huge, and it is an adult book, and I tend to read mostly YA, to be honest. But if I do get to it, that's great. If not, I'm obviously going to keep it on my shelf, and I will probably read it at some point. So yeah, who knows, this might be one I get to this month. Next up is the other massive one from this list, and that is The Girl Who Kicks the Hornet's Nest by Stieg Larsson, which is the third and final book in the Millennium Trilogy. There are more to this series that was created by David Lagerkrantz, who kind of followed on after Stieg Larsson died, but this is the final one of the actual trilogy that Stieg Larsson wrote. I really love the first two in this series, so I do really want to get to this. It is quite a big book. It is over 700 pages, so again, this is another quite a chunky one. But Lisbeth Salander, who is the main character in this, well, one of the main characters, she, in the first book, it was sort of shown that she had been ruled by the state, that she was mentally unstable and had to be appointed a guardian. So that is the kind of mental health element to this one. I think that it just continues on with the series. Like I said, I love the first two. Really looking forward to this, and I think also Lisbeth, I think one of the bingo board things is an intersectional book, is it? And Lisbeth is actually bisexual as well, so I guess that kind of, and also it's a translated book from Sweden, so I guess that's kind of intersectional too. I don't know, but like I said, I'm not doing the bingo challenges, but this would fit that one, I guess. If you are doing the challenges and you want to read it, is a massive book though, so it's whether you want to take that on or not. The next book I've had on my shelf for quite some time, and I am actually really interested to read this. I don't really know too much about it, but it is Faceless by Alyssa Schienmel, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This is about a girl whose face is really badly burnt and partially destroyed and in an accident, and she has to have a face transplant, and it deals a lot with body image, and it deals a lot with kind of her trying to figure out her identity and who she is, and her kind of inner turmoil and struggles because she has a new face, and that's not obviously the face that she used to have. Yeah, I'm really interested in this one. I think that it's a really kind of interesting concept, and I really love this cover, by the way. Yeah, very much looking forward to reading this one. I haven't heard lots of people talking about it though, so that could be really interesting, but yeah, looking forward to this one. Next up is a book that I'm a little bit nervous to read, just because Charlie from Charlie Brooke really didn't like this book, and I do like to trust her for her recommendations. So this one is Final Girls by Riley Sager. This is a thriller about 3 girls who have all survived separate murder massacres, I guess, and they are, all of 3 of them are the final girl that was left alive when everybody else around them was killed, and then one of those 3 is then found dead, and it's about that. This isn't one of those books that has a really like obvious mental health element to, but when I was reading the synopsis on Goodreads, it says that one of the girls takes prescription medication. She takes Xanax as far as I'm aware, and she also sees a therapist, and I know that that was one of the prompts on the bingo board. So I decided that this is a thriller. It's not one that's going to necessarily sort of shove you in the face with the mental health element, but I think it probably will deal with it a little bit in there. And yeah, it's quite a small book, but it is really small writing. So yeah, I'm interested to read this. This is a thriller that I've been wanting to read for quite a while, so hopefully I like it, and yeah, we'll see. Next up is a book that I mentioned in my Try a Chapter tag, the most recently published. This one came out last year, and it is one of the biggest books that's been talked about. I know that Nicole, who obviously, as like I say, is hosting the Mental Healthathon, did not actually like this book and found it quite dull, so we'll see what I think. This is The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn, which again is a thriller. I read the first chapter of this and I actually quite enjoyed it, but I don't know how obviously it's going to continue. This follows a woman who I believe suffers from agoraphobia, where she won't leave the house. She has a phobia of leaving the house basically, or being outside, and I think she witnesses something from looking out of her window, and something bad happens, I guess. I don't know too much else about this, but it does sound interesting to me. It's one I found in a charity shop, and it was like a brand new release, so I was quite excited about that. Yeah, I am really looking forward to reading this, and we'll see kind of what I think of it. But yeah, this has a mental health element to it. You may notice that I've tried to intersperse books that have mental health elements but are not books solely about mental health, if that makes sense. Like, I really want to read some books that, like the thrillers, that are about something else but have that elements in it, because I think if I just read 10 books that were all about mental health, I don't feel like that would be good for my mental health. The next one on the list is one that I received as my Secret Santa present from Izzy from Is Currently Reading, whose channel I'll link down below. She sent me A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, which was on my Amazon wish list, and I'm really excited about it. I've been wanting to read this for a while. This follows a boy who gets an elective in his senior year, serving as an aide to the school psychologist. So obviously that has the mental health element to it. And he, I believe, suffers from ADHD. I don't know if that's classed as a mental illness, but either way, it's an interesting thing that I've not really read anything about. And then one of the things that he has to do is to help a boy who used to be his foster brother, and he hasn't seen him in years. And it's kind of about that and the things that happen. And yeah, I think there's quite a lot of mental health elements to this book. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to reading it, and I don't know too much else about like the details of it, so I think that's quite exciting. And yeah, I've heard really, really good things about this book in general, so very much looking forward to reading it. Next up is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, which I always hear about on Twitter and lots of people talk about, and I didn't really know too much about it at all, to be honest. It follows a boy, I believe, who is going through a lot. His grandmother has Alzheimer's and she is sort of slowly deteriorating, and his boyfriend committed suicide the year before, and I think obviously that's the mental health element that I'm using for this book, I guess. I don't know, like I said, too much else about it. I think there's some kind of alien element to this, but I don't think it's kind of, I don't know, I'm really not sure, to be honest, kind of what that is symbolising, or if that is like genuine and this is like a sci-fi novel. I don't think so, but who knows. Yeah, looking forward to this one. This has a beautiful cover as well, and I feel like this is a book that genuinely gets lots of praise, so yeah, very much looking forward to this one. It's quite a big book. It's about 450 pages, but I feel like it's one of those books that might be quite easy to read. Yeah, so looking forward to this one. Next up we have The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee. This is another book that I've owned for quite a long time. Again, this is a book that has not got a massive mental health element to it. It's about New York City in 2118, which obviously is 100 years in the future when this was written, and it's about a 1,000-story super tower where the higher up in the tower that you live, the more wealthy and kind of rich you are, and I believe one of the characters in this suffers from addiction, and that is the mental health element that I'm kind of using for this book. I don't know too much else, and to be honest it doesn't even say on the back about the addiction, but I know I read on Goodreads that this had a lot of kind of addiction elements to it, or had some kind of addiction element. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I am interested to read this one anyway, so yeah, very, very much looking forward to it. And then the final book on this list is one that is very much a mental health read. I think it's like a contemporary, I guess you would call it, and this one might be quite difficult to read, but I do want to. That one is My Heart and Other Black Holes by Jasmine Waga, which follows two strangers, Aisel and Roman, and they have kind of made a plan to commit suicide together in a month's time, and then it's about that. I again feel like this could be good. It could also fall into the trap of the 13 Reasons Why. When I read that, I thought that was really like I thought that was quite an insensitive book to the whole like idea of suicide and suicidal thoughts, so hopefully this doesn't do the same thing. Obviously we'll see, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I've heard that it's quite a good book, and I believe it's a debut it's a debut novel from Jasmine Waga, so yeah, I'm interested in kind of reading something that is a bit more taboo, I think. So yeah, very much looking forward to reading this one for the Mental Healthathon. So there we have it, guys. That is the 10 books that I am hoping to read in the month of May for Mental Healthathon. Do go and check out the announcement videos, like I said, as I will have linked them below. I really, really hope you enjoy Mental Healthathon and you support Nicole. She's doing an amazing, amazing thing, and also Rachel and Kate as well. I hope that you have a wonderful month and that it's not triggering for you. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I shall see you next time for a new video. Bye guys!